How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to O2 Productions Co. My name is David Janzar. This is my friend John Carter. We are independent filmmakers, and welcome back to One Take. This is the place where we just talk movies, and today we have a good one for you guys. We're going to talk about genre-defining movies. Now, this is a combination of both movies that we really enjoy, but also we're trying to think about movies that most fit within one genre specifically and really give you a lot of what that genre has to offer. So it's not necessarily our favorite movie from each genre, it's also that other
Mm.
factor.
The representation
A
of
good
each genre.
representation. I was going to say the purest form of it, but pure is not exactly the right term, but
Well, well, an example of which, if you don't mind me saying, is like, you know how some people say, like, oh, if the aliens were to come down to Earth, who would we send to represent the human race?
yes. That's
This
perfect.
is exactly what it is, except for movies,
Yes,
you know?
for movie genres. So if we were to
Yes,
if we
yeah.
were to give the aliens an example of each of the following genres, which we will get into,
Mhm,
this is what it's going to be. This is the best representation. That's a really good movie and fits the genre very tightly for the most part. Um,
mhm.
Obviously, we're not going to act like we've seen every movie that's ever existed. We have left out some
Yeah.
genres that we feel not super knowledgeable in. So these are just genres that we feel a bit more confident in than others. That being said, even within those, yada yada yada. So
Yeah.
let's get into it.
Yeah.
And you could take it right away, Mr. Carter.
Okay. So I guess we'll start off with action. I was actually having a hard time thinking about this because I was like, dang, what's like a really pure nonstop action movie? And I will say off the back, I'm not. I know that the a usual answer is Die Hard, but I'm not actually the biggest fan of Die Hard, so I didn't feel like I should pick that. Not that it's a bad movie; it's just fine for me. So what I actually picked for that is Jackie Chan's Police Story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good pick.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, there's some like goofy moments, but like throughout the entirety of the film, there's just nonstop action, which is
Oh
exactly
yeah.
what the genre says and is. So after more thought about it, because like there's the whole police side of it, the whole obviously action side of it, you have fight scenes, all that good stuff, choreography, explosions. It's just pure. This is just what I think, and I like the movie too. This is just a pure action movie that I would give the aliens.
All right. Good choice. Jackie Chan's always a good one to go to.
Yes.
All right. I am gonna go with the probably one of the most common picks, and that's Die Hard. I really
Yeah.
like Die Hard. I think it is one of the best carbon copy examples of very much action centric.
Hmm.
There's a good amount of comedy too, and also the fact that it's a Christmas movie. Not gonna get into all that, but
Sure.
that's something that you can certainly not even be really paying that close attention to. If you're just looking for purely, I want to watch action at some of its best ever and just enjoy a really good movie, I would point you straight to Die Hard for action.
Hmm. Fair enough.
All right, what do we have
Cool.
next?
Um, uh, I'll go with comedy.
Okay.
And for comedy, I decided to. I was thinking about that one too. Well, basically all of them I thought about, but I went with one of my favorite movies, which is Grown Ups,
Okay.
because to me that's just the purest form of a comedy movie. Like nothing, not that it shouldn't be taken seriously, like a movie in general, but I feel like they didn't try hard to make it funny. It just kind of came natural. And I feel like comedy is something that you just shouldn't have to think about. It just like comes naturally to you. And I think this movie just like hits it.
Very good choice. I should have expected that from you, but I thought you were going to go with something
Yeah.
else, and thankful I'm glad you didn't though, because I'm
I
going to
was
take it.
thinking about something else, but I decided not to.
I'm
Yeah.
very glad because I did not have a good backup for comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I'm personally trying not to repeat here. It's not like a
Mm.
specific rule that we have, but it's just something I'm trying to do. So in
Right.
this case, I thought you were going to take the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
I was really debating
So
that,
grateful
but
you
I
didn't
actually,
because
yeah,
I did not have a very strong backup. There's a lot of
yeah.
comedy movies that I really enjoy, but a lot of the times they are mixes of other genres.
Hmm.
So SpongeBob you could still say is that because it's very much an adventure as well,
Yeah.
but the focus is very heavily on comedy. SpongeBob's been very influential from my childhood for a long time, and I
Mhm.
think the movie is an absolute masterpiece. It really caps off the first couple seasons of the
Yeah.
show.
Mhm.
Always have a fun time throwing that on, always have a good laugh, always have many good laughs watching
Yep.
that. And so there's moments of other genres, but for the most part, I mean, it's SpongeBob. So
Yes.
definitely very comedy heavy. So
Yeah.
that's my pick.
I couldn't agree with you more there. That is a 10 out of 10 comedy. That would probably be my backup. So yeah, I guess we'll move on to romance. Um, and for romance, we kind of also just kind of included the whole rom com scene because that just kind of dominates the whole romance
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, I picked When Harry Met Sally.
Yep. Good pick.
I think When Harry Met Sally is a masterpiece and should be um, the movie that all directors, writers should take after for a romance rom com movie. Just natural acting between Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan, I believe.
Yep.
Um, it was just funny. It was obviously romantic. Um, yeah, just great movie, great time.
Absolutely. All right. Romance. Uh, I agree with the rom-coms definitely dominating a lot with the romances.
Yeah.
Um, I could go. There is a movie that I like more that is, but it's pretty
Then
musical
when
based.
Harry met Sally,
What's that?
then when Harry met Sally,
Oh
you
no,
like it more than
that was
that?
my first pick too, but I'm going
Okay,
something
yeah,
different. So
sure,
I'm
yeah.
setting up here. There was another option that is a romance based movie that I really like. The only thing is it's a very heavy musical aspect, which a lot of romances can be, but I
Mm,
think I'd rather go romantic kind of dramedy sort of thing, and that would be About Time.
mm,
Really great movie
yeah,
led by two fantastic performances from Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel
Rachel,
McAdams. They're both
yeah,
so great in the movie.
hmm,
It messes around with time travel a little bit, but not in a sci-fi way. It's very much
hmm,
just something that's just kind of thrown into the story from the very beginning, and you just kind of accept it. It doesn't analyze any sort of science or anything like that. So
yeah,
it mostly just focuses on their romance and the experience of Domhnall Gleeson being able to relive certain moments. That's not a spoiler. That's literally the setup within the first 15 or so minutes
yeah,
of the movie. So
hmm,
really good. Definitely highly recommend. And that's what I would throw up for very genre defining movie for romances.
yeah. Good pick. I thought that was a fine movie. Yeah. Um. Okay. Now we're at horror. We're gonna move on to horror. In this one, I have been very much debating. I have two options, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pick this one. We're gonna go with yeah, we're gonna go with The Shining.
Ooh, I didn't see that
Yeah,
coming. The
I didn't
Shining.
either, but the more I think about it, the more I think it makes sense for me personally. Because for me, I don't think horror should be so um, reliant on just loud noises to scare people, and also I didn't feel it necessary to say like the usual kind of slasher horrors is necessarily what horror is because horror is so exponential. But I think the base of what horror is like it just kind of crawls in your skin rather than be chased by a guy with like a knife or something, if that makes sense. So I feel like The Shine is a good representation of that. I mean, obviously, um, he does chase his wife and kid with an axe, but that's later on. But throughout the whole movie, you actually feel like nervous and on edge watching it. Not to mention like the music that they put in there. Um, just one after the other. A lot of suspense, a lot of horror, um, and some gore in there too. But yeah, that's my pick for now. Yeah,
Okay, I didn't expect that one. That's good. Horror was a tough
I
one
didn't
for me
either.
too.
Yeah.
Horror was a
Hmm.
tough one for me. I'm tempted to go for a very common selection that is in the slasher
Okay.
genre.
Uh,
The only thing is, this is me
mm,
making these decisions, so it's much. I want to make the more personal pick for me, and I do just prefer the movie that I'm going to go with here, and that is Saw 2. I think
yeah.
the Saw franchise is my favorite. I said that before, I believe a
Yeah.
couple one takes ago. And Saw 2 is the best of that franchise. I think it's a 10 out of 10
Hmm.
horror film. It's very brutal. It's maybe not the best example of doing anything beyond just being very brutal, but it's got a bit of the morality of the villain.
Yeah.
It's got an interesting kind of it's got some twists and turns to it that I think are really cool that I think horror definitely can take advantage of. And
Mm.
so yeah, I'm gonna go with Saw 2 here for horror.
Fair enough. I should have expected that, but I didn't. Um, yeah, I'll actually tell you what I was debating between for horror. I was debating Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay. For me it was Halloween because
That's
Halloween very
fair.
much also kind of established the genre first, and
It
it's
did.
also one of the best examples, I think.
It is, but for me, Freddy Krueger, like somebody that kills you in your dreams, that's just pure horror because you don't want to fall asleep and have to deal with that, you
Sure,
know?
but Michael Myers is pure evil.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, how about we actually switch things up? What if you take sci-fi first? I'm kind of
Okay,
interested to
sci-fi.
see, yeah, because
Okay.
I have options again for that, and I'm curious to see. I feel like you would probably pick one of the ones I picked, though. Yeah,
Sci-fi is an interesting one for me because
it
I'm
is.
not a big space guy. Um, so I'm not
Okay.
going to go with some of the bigger space movies, but I am actually going with a space movie. So,
Oh,
but it's a combination of things, and I think this movie just encapsulates a lot of different aspects of sci-fi
mm.
and is just super compelling and is one of my favorites of all time. And it's another animated movie, which is pretty interesting. I'm gonna go with
Animated.
Wall-E.
Oh,
Wall-E is
I
just
should have
so good.
expected that.
It's
Yeah.
just so good. I love Wall-E so much. Um, 10 out of 10 film.
Mm.
The way that it's able to introduce you to like it it explores a potential future that
Yeah.
is very fascinating and in my opinion
Highly
a
likely.
very great no I'm not saying
Yeah.
that but it's a
Yeah.
great kind of forewarning
Sure.
that is still very prevalent today where it's a
Hmm.
potential future that to
It
me is
is.
very realistic, grounded in science to an extent, and
Mm-hmm.
just overly very compelling. I love how it starts as very much a silent film, so that's really interesting. It also has all the robots and things like that, so that aspect of sci-fi, and then it does bring you into space eventually, but it takes like I think like 30 to 40 minutes to even get you there, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't drag in the beginning. It's so fascinating. It's got really good romance in there. So it very much grounds you into a lot of very human emotions and experiences while still
Hmm.
very much going for unrealistic science, well, not completely unrealistic, but science fiction sort
Right.
of aspects. So that's what I really admire about Wally. And yeah, just all the character moments really work for me in that movie. And it's cool seeing this visualization of what the world could eventually become. Let's hope it doesn't, but it's
Yeah.
still very hopeful as well, which I think sci-fi is also really
It
good at
is.
doing. Is it
Yeah.
can really be dark and scary, but also bring you to a place where it gives you hope for humanity and the world. So,
Hmm. Dang. I mean, yeah. Wally, I think is also a 10 out of 10 movie. Um, I was hoping you would pick at least one of the three that I was debating between,
oh,
but
you
you
want me to
didn't.
knock one out for you?
So.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
did. Okay. So sci-fi. Now, if we're thinking about sci-fi, what is sci-fi? Science fiction. Now, because of that, I am not gonna go with the answer I thought I was gonna go with, and I'm gonna pick the Terminator.
Okay.
because of the fact that it takes place. I really like this movie too. I think Arnold did a great
I do
job.
as
The
well.
fact that it takes place in like a pretty much decimated, um, I guess Earth or planet, whatever. You have like cyborgs, Terminators, time travel in there. There's a lot of action in it, obviously, but there's also a lot of um, science, of course, in there too. And I think that it just like represents the genre pretty well, um, for what a science fiction movie should be, because you get all the aspects in there.
The Terminator's just
Yeah,
badass, dude. And
it
Arnold,
is.
especially as
Yeah,
the Terminator, is just
it
cool
is. Yeah.
casting, awesome movie. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's awesome.
Man, I can't believe I just said that, but I did. Yeah,
What
yeah.
was one of your backups? Or both of them, I don't
My two backups was obviously Back to the Future,
know. Okay. Yep.
um, and Alien.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Alien's cool too. Yeah,
I
great
was
picks.
very much debating between
That is a tough
Alien.
debate.
Yeah.
That's
Uh-huh.
tough. All right, what do we have next?
Fantasy.
Fantasy. All right. Are
Fantasy.
you taking the lead on this or am I?
Yeah, I guess I can take it because I don't have a backup for this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Fantasy. I went with the generic but obvious and perfect response with Star Wars: A New Hope.
A New
I
Hope.
mean,
Okay.
yes,
Not
yes, because
Empire.
that no, no, because well, maybe I should have, but I'm sticking with New Hope for right now because Star Wars: A New Hope at least gave us an introduction. Like this is it gave us the example of what to build off of, which is why I picked the first one as opposed to Empire Strikes Back. Um, Fantasy because even though this probably could become a reality, it's very, very, very much down in the line of the future. You have lightsabers, which are awesome. A bunch of I creatures, I guess to call them. Just the lore of Star Wars, the whole galaxy, fighting in space, spaceships, blasters, all that good, the Force, all that stuff. Um, yeah, I just don't think you can. Well, you obviously are, but I don't think you can really pick anything else to represent fantasy.
I think there are some options, and I'm gonna
I
go with
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
them. I will say that Empire Strikes Back was actually my first pick, but I'm not gonna go Star Wars again. So
yeah.
I'm going to go with I'll do Harry Potter and The
Fair
Prisoner of
enough.
Azkaban.
Yeah.
My favorite of the franchise. That's the third movie of the franchise. Really cool. The Wizarding World is just really fun. Um, Obviously, all the magic and stuff, very fantastical. So many cool characters in the Harry Potter world. It's so enjoyable to spend time with Harry, Ron, Hermione, watching them grow through their years at Hogwarts and beyond. And yeah, just a really fun movie. And I
Mm,
think all the different arcs that the characters go through in Prisoner of Azkaban, specifically the introduction of Sirius Black and Professor Lupin, is super compelling. And then a lot of the reveals towards the end are I think, some of the best in the entire franchise. And then you get the time travel stuff, which is really cool too. Which, you could
mm,
argue time travel might be science fiction,
mm.
but in the way it's
Sure.
used in the movie, with the magic and everything, it's still fantasy. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'll go for Prisoner of Azkaban for my fantasy pick.
Fair enough. I should probably rewatch the Harry Potter movies because the last time I watched them, I remember not liking them, but that was back when I was single digits and times have probably changed.
You
Um,
should give 'em a try.
yeah, I
Give
probably
'em another
will.
shot.
Yeah. Adventure. Yes, adventure. Yeah, for that, I picked Raiders, Raiders of the
Yep.
Lost Ark. If you don't know what that means, it's Indiana Jones 1. Um, yeah, just can't get any better than Harrison Ford wearing his Indiana Jones hat, cracking his whip, going on the adventure for the um, I forget what it's called, but like the Crusade or something like that. Um, Flies on a plane, short round, all that good stuff. But that's the second one. But even still, you know, honestly, I think that if I had after all this is over, if I had to pick the one movie that represents the genre the best, I think it's Raiders for Adventure. So like
Yeah,
I just
and
don't
I'd
really
agree.
even yeah, I just don't even know how I can explain it even more. It's just
Yeah.
like the movie just explains for itself, you
Yep.
know?
I mean, just from the very beginning, you have one of the best character introductions, I would say, of all time. Like
Mm,
that
yeah,
whole opening
yeah,
sequence is just so great. And then from there, it doesn't let up. Like, yeah,
yeah.
great movie. That was my pick for adventure, but I've got a
Yeah,
pretty solid backup, I would say.
okay.
I'm gonna go with Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl. I
That's the
think
first one.
the first one. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah,
We first meet Jack Sparrow. We first
fair
meet
enough.
Elizabeth Swann. We first meet Will Turner. So,
Mm,
first time introducing all the characters. Uh, Obviously, the introduction of Jack Sparrow is really iconic. The music is awesome. Really
mm,
captures the sense of adventure. And, you know, the way that they realized, the pirates, and especially with the Black Pearl and what's his name, the villain. Blanking.
I'm blanking too. It'll come back to me. But yeah.
But the way that they show, their ghostliness and the curse that they have, and just getting into this world of pirates and going on this
Mm,
adventure at sea, finding the treasure. Very tried and true story, done
yeah.
super well, and always a good time to see the sword fighting, swinging from ship to ship,
Mm. Oh yeah.
the all those moments like that, and the battles between the pirates with one another, the pirates with the old British people, and
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
really good representation of
Oh
a
yeah.
true adventure.
I agree with you. I grew up in watching and loving those movies. Yeah. So let's move on to drama. So I was very much debating drama and actually probably having a hard time thinking of one, but I came to the conclusion of Goodwill Hunting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah, just because of the fact that like Matt Damon does a great job in it. The fact that he has obviously the smarts and so much potential, but he just doesn't want to act upon it. He has his own personal trauma and problems that he's dealing with. People around him want to support him. Robin Williams, his I think British girlfriend and all that stuff. We see the dynamic between the two there. It seems like everybody in that movie is has their own kind of problems, and you actually get to see a glimpse or even build up of each character in that area. And yeah, it's also a feel good movie, but that's usually sometimes how dramas play out. But yeah, I just really like this movie a lot. Borderline 10 out of 10. Maybe it is. Um, yeah,
yeah, Good Will Hunting. I got to go back and watch that again because that would
it's a
definitely
great
be a
movie.
contender for me, I think.
Yeah.
This was a tough one for me. I could bring back Steven Spielberg here, but I don't think I will
Mhm.
because there is a movie I slightly prefer, and that is The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Another very common pick. Um,
Hmm.
Not the most proud of that, but it's just such a
Yeah,
good movie. It really is.
it
I think
is.
it's one of the best casts, I think, possibly ever. Hard for me to
Hmm.
say that for certain, but everybody across the board brings such great performances,
Yeah,
and it's a long movie that
it is.
is able to hold on to a really nice pace all the way throughout where you don't feel that you're jumping because a lot of time passes throughout the movie. It's very much
Hmm.
a sprawling movie in terms of time, despite them being in prison for the most part throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But really nails the pace where you don't feel like you're jumping through it too quick. You don't feel like you're forced to sit with the characters too long to where things aren't going anywhere. There's good amount of
Hmm.
momentum throughout. Very beautiful looking film. Cinematography is incredible in it, and
Yeah.
really thoughtful and thought-provoking film. Love
Yep.
Shawshank. Great movie, and that's
Yeah.
what I did go for in drama.
Well, yeah, that was probably my second pick, but I decided obviously not to pick it. Because, and I'm gonna say it, Not that I do not like it. I think it is a borderline masterpiece, but I will say that I think it is slightly overrated,
Okay.
like
It
slightly.
is very, yeah, very much acclaimed movie. So,
It
but
is.
I think rightly so.
Yeah, and not. I'm not saying I don't like it. I know there's
Yeah.
gonna be people that say that, but even still, sports. Let's move on to sports movie. There's a lot of sports movies out there, but one to me stands out, and it's probably a generic answer, but I think it's the right answer. Remember the Titans?
Yeah. How can it
Because
not be?
like,
How can it not
yeah,
be?
I was really thinking about it, but like, I mean, you gotta just think about what sports is. Sports is just a team sport, or a team thing. So remember the Titans. You're working with the team. You see all these people not wanting to work together. There's like racial stuff involved in there too. There's a coach. Um, underdog. It's like an underdog story too. Literally everything that's involved in sports you get in this movie. You see development of the players, both personal and on and off the field. And it's obviously about football. Well, not obviously, but it's about football. Um, yeah, you could go with any kind of uh, sport for this, but it just happened to be football. This is the best movie, I think, and highly recommend people to watch it who haven't yet.
Yeah. Remember the Titans is tough to be beat. But
It is.
for me, I have one that if it doesn't beat it, it comes very, very close, at least for me,
Mhm.
and that would be Miracle. It's the
Mhm.
hockey movie from the early 2000s, starring Kurt
Yep.
Russell as Herb Brooks, talking about the 1980 Winter Olympic U.S. men's hockey team going
Yep.
on their journey all the way through the Olympics in Lake Placid until coming up against a powerhouse Russian team in the semifinals, I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
And then going on beyond that to the finals. Spoiler alert, they beat the Russians.
Hmm.
They go on to win
Yep.
gold. And just a really storied, long, for a long time, it's been storied and talked about
Hmm.
for ages about how incredible that run was because it was a group of college age men who
Yep.
had most of them had never played together before, and the coach Herb Brooks had to bring them all together, teach them to push past their rivalries that already existed when playing in
Hmm.
college, and to elevate themselves both as people and as players,
Yep.
and overcoming the Russian team, which was older than them, had been playing together for much longer than them, and basically the odds were very much against them in that semifinal round, and they were
Hmm.
able to find victory despite that. And Kurt Russell is incredible in the movie. He's an actor that I really like. He's one of my favorites, I
Yeah.
would say. Like him in a lot of movies. He's really good as Herb Brooks. He brings the tension, the excitement, the leadership, and there's so many great teaching moments where you really feel that coach and player dynamic, both on an individual
Yeah.
and a team scale.
Hmm.
You feel the struggle, and also I can say, as somebody who's played hockey my whole life, the actual filming of the sport itself. Sometimes that's something that can be kind of not as strong because they're not as familiar or they just care more about kind of the drama around it. In this case,
Right.
and I'd say with Remember the Titans as well,
Hmm.
the sport itself was also executed really well because they actually took hockey players and taught them
Yep.
how to act rather than the other way around, which is that movie is pretty famous for because a lot of times these movies
Hmm.
would just take actors and then
Right.
just throw them out there and try to fake their way into making them look like athletes in some cases.
Hmm.
In this case, they did the opposite and it worked out really well. There's some really great performances, even from the players themselves, who some of them never acted before in their lives. Some of
Right.
them have even gone on to continue acting beyond that, which is really cool. Um,
Cool.
but yeah, Miracle always been a meaningful one to me as a
Hmm.
as a huge fan of the sport who grew up with it, and great movie.
Yeah. I definitely have to watch that. I've heard. I think you've actually mentioned to me. I've
Yeah,
obviously heard about it. I need to watch it. I did not know that the actors in it were actually not actors and actual players. I think that's pretty cool. Um, that reminds me of I think it's called Sing Sing,
yeah,
um,
yep,
where they actually had the former inmates act and be a part of that movie, which I thought was very cool. Obviously, that's a different kind of story, but even
yeah,
still,
yep. I'd recommend it to anybody, even if you're not a big fan of hockey. I think the
I like
story just
hockey.
works on
Yeah.
its own. It's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, on to our last genre, thriller. Not Michael Jackson, but thriller as a genre. This is the one I had the toughest time thinking of because of the fact that I actually don't really watch a lot of thrillers, even though I like psychological thrillers. But I was trying to find um, the like just a soul thriller, which was hard for me to find, and the fact that I actually probably haven't seen enough of them. But I am going with the general pick of Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
You can't get any. Well, you can, but Hannibal Lecter, really cool. I don't want to meet him in real life, but really cool character. What's her name? Jodie Foster. I forget her character's name, but she was great in the movie. You really feel the suspense through and throughout. You get the crime aspect in there, which is happens to be in a lot of thriller movies throughout the whole movie. Like I said before, you get to see the buildup of Hannibal getting into Jodie Foster's like mind and like playing around with like her emotions and all that stuff. And you see the breakdown of her and Hannibal throughout the whole movie. And you're constantly thinking like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like on the edge of your seat, which is what a thriller should do. And yeah, highly recommend this movie. I think it's a good representation, great representation of a thriller movie. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, great choice. I want to just shout out Buffalo Bill as well. I think it's Ted Levine
Mm,
is the actor who played him. I feel like he's somebody who kind of has gone overlooked in that movie because yes, there's two even better performances in the movie, but I think he's
mm.
great as well. And yeah, just
Yeah, he
awesome
was good.
characters
Yeah.
and really crazy story. So yeah,
Mm,
that's a good choice. That would definitely be up there with some of my favorites. Um, so for me, this is a tough one because
yeah.
I have a couple choices that I would definitely say are thrillers, but do have aspects that kind of move them away from that genre a little bit. So I'm going to move past those, even though those are some of my favorites of all time. And I'm going to go with Perfect Blue. I'm going to take Perfect Blue here.
See, the reason why I didn't pick that is because I thought there was too much horror aspect into it. You
You think
know?
so? Should I change
No,
mine?
oh,
My other option was Unbreakable, but Unbreakable, it's got the superhero aspect and it's also kind of just a drama.
I
So
don't know. I'll let you have Perfect Blue, even though I would have taken that. But yeah.
you would have taken that over Silence of the Lambs?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
Oh, then we should do it
easily.
again because Silence of the Lambs, I
Yeah.
think, is more of a horror than Perfect Blue.
Really?
Are we gonna start a whole debate here?
We,
Silence of the
this
Lambs
might be
has
the debate.
has a
Yeah,
dead body in it
sure,
and has Buffalo Bill skinning people alive and has a
sure,
woman that has to live in a well
sure.
and it had the whole kind of climax of the movie is Jodie Foster having to creep through the darkness, and then we have to watch through Buffalo Bill's eyes and night vision as he's creeping up on her, like very much
Yeah,
almost slasher-esque.
it is.
I I mean I think we're gonna start just talking semantics here if we get into it too much. So
Oh yeah.
I don't want to take Perfect Blue away from you though now. So now I kind of feel bad.
Well, no, no, we got to stick with it. Just for the people who watch this, just know that we're switching, but we're talking for each other. Yeah,
um yeah. So I'll just say for Perfect Blue,
yeah,
really exciting movie. Really catches
hmm
you off guard with how it messes with your mind.
Yeah.
hence it being psychological.
Yep.
And the struggles that the main character goes through are ones that um, you can instantly kind of feel through the editing and through the threat that this torn, fractured reality kind of puts on you as a viewer, not just through
Yeah.
her. And it the movie as a whole really hints at a history that she has that, again, playing with her psychology, like how much is real experiences that she's having that we now have to sit
Hmm.
through versus what's just going on in her head, which is still just as horrifying. But
Yeah.
then when you have that push and pull, it really comes together very well. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Perfect Blue.
I agree. I think Perfect Blue is the, from what I've seen, the greatest psychological thriller ever. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's why I took it. So
yeah. There's a lot I haven't seen, but for now, it's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, I definitely
But
have to watch more thrillers too. But I'd be curious how people really define thrillers because I know we had a bit of a discussion on this
yeah,
before filming. It's kind of not the
yeah,
easiest to pin down necessarily because a lot of times it can bleed into horror or action or
crime and all that stuff. Yeah,
drama.
there's so
Yeah,
much that goes into it. It's so hard to like really have a clear cut definition of it.
yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, so I believe that is it. That's our last genre we're going to cover today. Um, and thank you guys so much for joining us again. This has been One Take, and we will see you guys in the next video. I forgot to say like and subscribe. Oh
I can
well.
subscribe. Yep. Yeah.